I forgot to film the intro yesterday while it was raining, but here's how I make money with my New York City apartment. Thanks, Adam.
Yep.
If you saw my last video, you saw that I did an apartment tour about my Williamsburg apartment, and I mentioned how I'm able to make money off of it and afford it. If you didn't see that video, I'll link it right here, and you can quickly watch and see what my apartment looks like. When I first moved to New York City, apartments weren't affordable, and I was paying $900 a month in rent for a 3-bedroom, and I had my own room. As I was working as an art director in New York, I realized that ad agencies, media outlets, and even small creators need spaces that they can shoot in. When I was looking for these locations for my clients and for the brands that I was working with, we were using a website called Peerspace. If you're not familiar with Peerspace, it's similar to Airbnb, except instead of it being for travel locations, it's actually meant for productions. You can book event spaces, houses, and apartments, which then you and your team can come to and use for an entire production. It could be a full-fledged Brooklyn studio, or it could be a 70s style house, whatever works for what you're shooting. I quickly realized prior to COVID that my living space wasn't used for 40 hours a week because I was commuting to the office. And then I immediately thought, well, why don't I just rent out my apartment on Peerspace? With that idea in mind, I spoke with my landlord. I checked my lease to make sure there wasn't any issues with using it for a photo shoot, and then I posted it. It was just a trial run. COVID happened, but I learned that it was very possible to make money off of a space, and that moving forward, any apartment that I lived in, I would use to have as a Peerspace until I was ready to settle down. I've been renting my space at $90 an hour and offering a discount for an 8-hour day shoot. In that time frame since October, I've had 17 inquiries and 10 bookings. An inquiry means that someone messaged me with a proposed time, date, and price, and had a couple questions about booking it. And then a booking means that they actually committed to booking and showed up at the space and used it. Of the bookings, most of them were not for a full day. They were for 2 to 5 hours at a time. And I made a total of $2,206.35. At the point of the photo shoot, the payment has already gone through and been processed, and I just need to wait for Peerspace to deposit it directly in my bank account. That $2,206 has gone directly to my rent every month and has subsidized the costs that I need to pay. This allows me to have a nicer apartment without necessarily having to pay a high premium to be here. There was a lot of money left on the table, and that happens in the production space. Maybe they found a cheaper space. They may have found a space that better suits their needs or is a closer location, or they just weren't ready to actually do the shoot. If all the bookings ended up being confirmed, I would have made an additional $5,516, and that is just in the time frame of October to January. As you can see, it can be very lucrative, but there are steps you need to take in order to have success doing it, so I'm gonna break that down for you. Hopefully I can get through this. My camera battery keeps overheating. What the heck, Sony? Step number 1 is obviously making sure you're allowed to do this. Talk to your landlord, get permission, and make sure you're doing it the right way. You want to be able to create a theme and a style inside your home so that when someone comes to book it, they know what they're getting. It could be very niche if you want, to 70s style, 60s style, or it can just be mid-century modern or very clean and minimal. Either way, pick a style and stick to it, and then make sure it is emulated throughout your entire apartment or house. Take amazing photos so that people can see exactly what they're getting, and then once someone books, make sure you get a review from them. Make sure the process is seamless. Try and get a 5-star review, and then that will help you get future bookings. If you get great reviews and a lot of bookings, you'll become a super host, and then you'll be able to pop up earlier on the pages when people are searching for spaces to rent. I would also make sure that you have renter's insurance and that the people shooting in your space are insured. You don't want any sort of issues happening if someone gets injured, and you want to be aware of what they're doing, who's all coming in, and what their ages are. Lastly, this is income, so talk to an accountant, talk to a financial advisor, and make sure you're doing your due diligence to report all of your income through this platform. Lastly, I want to break into the pros and cons. We'll get through it quickly. Obviously, a pro is you make a lot of money on the space. What people don't realize is that you're meeting a lot of people. And as a creative, I love that opportunity because I'm meeting models, photographers, designers, art directors. I'm also getting connected to production teams and even media outlets. Companies like the New York Times will rent out spaces for photo shoots. So in the time frame that they come to the space, you show them around, you may have the opportunity to tell them about yourself, meet with them, and potentially work with them in the future. The cons of renting a Peerspace is that you have to leave your house when they're here. Secondly, you cannot have too many personal items because you will constantly have to flip your space. If you're the type of person that has personal items like game systems, photos, certain blankets, or anything like that, you're gonna have to find a way to store them and put them away because brands and companies do not want that in their videos and photos. That process can be exhausting and isn't easy for everyone. Hopefully that gives you an idea of how you guys can use Peerspace, and maybe you'll consider using it in the future for your apartment. Like always, please let me know if you have any questions, shoot me a DM, or just make a comment down at the bottom of the video. If you liked what you saw, like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.